Star Wars Jedi Survivor is the follow-up to a massively popular and good game, and you might think that you know everything that you need to know about it simply from playing Jedi Fallen Order, and that's not the case. Hi folks, it's Falcon, and today on gameranx, 10 things Star Wars Jedi Survivor doesn't tell you. Starting off at number 10, learning to slice security droids early. Some of the most annoying enemies are security droids. These guys can be painful to fight, especially when they come in groups. Eventually, the game gives you the ability to have them fight for you by making it so BD1 can slice them when they're low on health. But normally, you don't get this handy power until pretty far in the game. But there's actually a trick to getting it pretty early. Normally, you find the terminal that unlocks Slice security droids in the checkpoint leading up to the Imperial base on the mountains of Kaobao, specifically in this area called Mountain Ascent. The whole area is locked down, protected by these giant green security laser things. So when you come up there, you might think there's nothing you can do. In most games like this, that would be the case. It's just a locked door, but there is actually something pretty funny you can do. If you approach the two stormtrooper guards behind the main gate, you can talk to them and actually trick them into opening the front gate with a Jedi mind trick.
I already showed you my authorization.
You already showed me your authorization. Sir?
It only opens up the first layer of defense. There's another laser wall just a few yards ahead, but the terminal to learn the slice ability is right there. You can just go to this place as early as the very start of the game when you first get to Rambler's Reach, and man, does it make certain encounters so much easier. At number 9, how to get one of the best perks early. So when you do reach the settlement of Rambler's Reach, there's a prospector that's going to tell you there's a rumor about missing miners. This sounds simple enough, right? For the most part, it is. It's a cave, got mostly weak enemies, it's overall pretty short, but there is a pretty powerful perk here that's, in my opinion, one of the best in the game. It's the Shatter perk, which makes you much more effective at breaking an enemy's guard. Tons of the most annoying enemies in the game love to guard, so being able to break them faster is super useful. It's a perk that you can use for the entire game. It's easily one of the best. Seriously, there are a ton of perks in this game. There are a lot of good ones that you're going to get from taking on legendary monsters and completing Jedi chambers, but this one is one of the best, period. The problem is the thing that's guarding it, a Rancor, which isn't just going to let you walk away without a fight. It's supposed to be a really tough enemy that you encounter once, run away from, and then fight again later when you're much stronger, but with a little perseverance, you can take him down right at the start. And that leads to the next point. At number 8, how to kill the Rancor, a ridiculously difficult enemy to take down, especially compared to just literally everything else you've encountered up till this point. It might seem like something you're supposed to come back to later, and it probably is, but with the right strategy, it's totally possible to deal with this guy right from the start of the game. Now, the two most important things to know is to never try to block or defect. Just play cautiously. At this point in the game, you're going to have 2 stims tops, and it only takes 2 hits from the Rancor to kill you, so if you want to survive, you're going to need to act very carefully. Only get a few hits in every time there's an opening, and then get away as fast as you can. There's 2 easy attacks that leave the Rancor wide open. This one where he slams the ground with his fist twice, and the red attack where he tries to grab you. The grab attack is especially dangerous. It's an instant kill every time. But if you dodge it, you can get about 3 or 4 free hits in. Watch out for the ground pound as well. Remember, you can't jump in this game, so do that. If you see some black smoke or whatever the hell this is supposed to be, if you see that coming at you, just jump. Like, there's no other thing to do. Just jump. If you manage to get the Rancor down to about 20% health and you can finish it off with a killing blow, you earn that perk. It's not easy, but it's very worth it. Seriously, like, it almost feels like a different game. That's how big the difference between breaking enemies' blocks with this thing is. So really, you're gonna want it because there's a lot of enemies that just guard all the time. At number 7 is an easy free perk slot. In Jedi Survivor, you start out with just 3 perk slots. There are a few ways to increase that number and use more, but they don't just tell you about them. One of the first things you can do, though, is trade 10 data discs to V at Rambler's Ranch. But that is an expensive and time-consuming proposition. Data discs are kind of tough to find. For that first perk slot upgrade, the best place you go in this area is a town called Harvest Ridge. As soon as you get there, you can unlock the ability to ride a Neko, which unlocks after you activate the forest array. The area is basically a mini dungeon. Most of the puzzles are solved by using an Echo to reach higher places. It's not too tricky, but the reward for finishing is well worth the effort. Perk slots are by far the rarest upgrades you can get in this game, and if you want a relatively easy one, check this out. At number 6, skills to get ASAP. Jedi Survivor has a lot more going on with its skills compared to the first game. Like, there's so much to choose from, and certain abilities are miles ahead of others. That's my personal opinion, of course, but after spending a lot of time with the game, there's a few skills that really stand out as what I think you would want to unlock ASAP. I'm not going to talk about obvious ones. The survival tree, you can get skills that increase your max health, DOE. Those are helpful. Yeah. But they're not a priority, especially if you're taking the time to find health essence upgrades hidden around the world. That's going to increase your HP for free. So, yeah. One of my favorite skills from the first game, Dash Strike, is back here, and it's just as good. It's got a great skill to get in a free hit when approaching an enemy, and the aerial Dash Strike is fantastic for dealing with flying enemies. You're going to be relying on force powers a lot more in this game, too, so anything that makes it so you can regenerate force energy faster, that's just going to be extremely helpful. The skill Channeled Energy, very good for that purpose. It makes it so you regain more force for killing enemies, and you get more force for attacking blocking enemies. Another skill that's just a straight upgrade that's worth getting is Unrelenting Pull, which makes it so you can force pull large and force resistant enemies, which is, really handy for certain tough encounters. There are more, but I'll stop with Double Orbit. This is an upgraded version of the double-sided lightsaber's regular force move. It's one of the best, if not the best, out of the crowd control moves in the game, and you're going to be dealing with a lot of crowds, so you'll probably get used to using it. I did. I use it a lot. It's fun. It works. But those are my recommendations. If you try any of this stuff out and don't like it, at least you can always respec at any time for free, which is also really nice. At number 5, how to easily deal with the scavenger bots. After a while, you probably notice these little robots. They bolt around the second you get close to them. They're kind of like the crystal lizards from Dark Souls. And they drop a valuable resource, priorite shards. If you want to buy anything from Doma's shop or you want 100% completion, you need this stuff. There's plenty of them lying around, but the scavenger bots are the most annoying ones to get, unless you do a simple trick. So the thing about these guys is they don't start running away until you're pretty close to them. So if you want to kill them, slowly approach them until they start flailing around, and then immediately throw the lightsaber at it. The thing is, you can't just throw the lightsaber the second you see them, because it'll probably come up short. It's kind of hard to tell how far your throw actually goes, so it's important to get as close as possible, then throw. Otherwise, the thing will bolt, and the only way to catch it is to go all the way back to a meditation point and reset the enemy spawns. So just slowly approach when you see them. The second they start moving, throw. That'll catch them. Basically every time, you'll never have to worry about chasing these annoying things down. At number 4, in Doma's shop, getting the mysterious key code. You might think Doma's shop doesn't have anything essential, mostly cosmetic stuff here. Music tracks you can unlock as well. But there's one thing in here you definitely should buy. It's this thing called the mysterious key code, and it costs 10 priorite. Priorite can be a pain to find, but in this case, it's very worth it. The door this unlocks leads to a room in the shop with just one thing. It's really good. A chest containing a stim upgrade. It's one of the first stim upgrades you get if you're thorough. The actual first stim upgrade is on Coruscant, guarded by a security droid, and while it's not hard to miss, it's still down an optional path and it's just given to you as a freebie. If you haven't started the game yet, you don't really want to miss this one, because if you do miss it, it's potentially dozens of hours before you'll get a chance to get it again. Seriously, once you leave Coruscant, you're locked out for a long time. At number 3, the game never tells you about precision dodges. Did you know that's a thing? In the first game, dodging wasn't very effective, but in Jedi Survivor, you'll probably use it more. There's a standard dodge, you know how that works, and then there's a precision dodge, which is basically a perfect dodge. Yeah, there's a completely different version of the dodge that triggers if you hit the button at just the time that an enemy's about to hit you. If you get it just right, instead of Cal dodging backwards or left and right, he'll stay in place and avoid all damage, making it much easier to continue attacking the enemy. The timing is extremely tight though, especially on harder difficulties, but it's a skill that's way helpful against certain enemies, especially ones that have red unlockable attacks. You can go through the entire game without realizing that you can do this, but it's here, and it's great, especially for people who want to master the combat system. At number 2, beware the spawn of Ogdo. Remember that really annoying frog mini-boss from Jedi Fallen Order? Well, his spawn is back for revenge and worse than ever. You can find it in the Fort Kalin area after falling into a trapdoor. The priorite looks really enticing, but this is one trap you don't want to fall into. Why, you might ask? Because this thing's ridiculous. It makes the Rancor look like a total pushover. He's crazy aggressive, he can kill you really fast, and his charge attack is almost impossible to dodge. One of the hardest things about this boss is just avoiding it. At first, like I said, that charge attack, it just seems impossible to avoid. The trick here is to jump. That's really the only effective way I've found to avoid taking damage, and even then, not guaranteed. If there's one encounter I'd honestly suggest turning down the difficulty to beat, it's this guy. It's not just absurdly hard, it makes you feel like a chump. I mean, come on, it's a giant frog. It shouldn't be that tough. Like, you look at it and you're like, I can take on a frog. You can't. I mean, if you can, good for you, but like most of us can't. And at number 1, when starting a new game, Jedi Survivor gives you a lot of options, but the best one, at least for players like me who want to be challenged, is Jedi Master. I'm not talking about the hardest difficulty here, it's the second hardest. It makes enemies tougher and deflect timing a little tighter. It sounds like it might be overwhelming, but honestly it's not. Like, Fallen Order is not the hardest of the Souls-likes, and Jedi Master is actually a little easier in this game than it was in Fallen Order. This game gives you a lot of tools of combat, and on Jedi Master difficulty, you really have to use all of them if you want to do well. The thing is, there's still a lot of margin for error here. You can screw up pretty big once in a while and still get out of a tough situation. It just makes it so certain situations are tough to begin with, but for me at least, it never feels frustrating. Just feels like I have to engage with the mechanics of the game a little more. You can't cheese it. I mean, it's not a game that really lets you cheese a whole lot, but you actually have to use the tools you're given now. The game is still built on top of the Souls formula, and while I don't think it's absolutely 100% a genre that has to be hard, the experience is a little more fun when you have to think a little more tactically. Obviously, if you still want to jump in and live the Jedi power fantasy, that's fine, but for players who want something a little more, difficult, but might be afraid to bump it up to the next level, I'll tell you, Jedi Master is a good starting place for people who are experienced playing action games. But hey, if it's too hard or you think it's annoying, you can turn down the difficulty whenever you want.
And that's all for today. Leave us a comment, let us know what you think. If you like this video, click like. If you're not subscribed, now's a great time to do so. We upload brand new videos every day of the week. Best way to see them first is, of course, a subscription, so click subscribe. Don't forget to enable all notifications, and as always, we thank you very much for watching this video. I'm Falcon. You can follow me on Twitter at Falcon the Hero, and we'll see you next time right here on gameranx.